Welcome to our series of 2019 Cooking Through the Calendar, and this is our second month. We are going to be making one pot cheesy spaghetti today, and I want to share those ingredients, talk to you a little bit about food safety, portion control, and also introducing some whole grain products with your pasta making. So let's look at our ingredients first. That's the first thing you want to do, is gather all your ingredients before you start cooking. We have our onion, and this recipe calls for a small onion. So on this particular one, you may want to use half that onion. We also have our garlic powder. We have our chili powder, our oregano, diced chilies and tomatoes, and diced tomatoes. And then we'll also be adding some water to that recipe as well. So once we've gathered all those, we have our one pot. That's the nice thing about this particular recipe. It's a very quick and easy one. Takes about 15 minutes to cook after you get it prepared. You can prepare a salad during that cooking time, and then you have a quick family mealtime ready to go. So as we're doing that, we would add our ingredients together. And basically what we do, I have already done some of these steps ahead of time today, so you can see those. We're going to actually add our ground turkey. We have browned that already and cooked that with the onion. That's the first step that you do. And we're going to put that into our pot. And of course, normally that would be just beginning to actually cook that and brown that turkey until it's brown. And as far as turkey safety is concerned, we do have this one today. I have it just stored on some ice while we're filming today. And you want to keep that refrigerated until you're ready to use it, and then cook it well to about 165 degrees. And of course, since it's ground, you just want it to be browned, nicely brown. So we have that in our pot. And then we're going to add our garlic. And we're using garlic powder today, again, reinforcing from other series programs that we're using the powder versus the salt, so that we're reducing the amount of sodium in that recipe. And then we will add our chili powder, 2 teaspoons of chili powder, and 2 teaspoons of dried oregano. And that's going to give some good flavor, some good Italian flavor. And then we're just going to stir that a little bit until that's mixed. Then we're going to add our diced tomatoes. And this is one of the reasons it's called a nice one-pot meal. It's quick and easy, and you won't have very much kitchen cleanup to do. Now, I'll have more because I'm using extra dishes today, but at home you won't have quite that many. So stir those in. We've added that ground turkey, added our garlic powder, chili powder, and we're stirring that up. I'll let you see what that looks like when it's mixed up. Now, I have a pretty large pot here today. You may not want to use one quite that big. Then we would bring that to a boil, stir that occasionally, and you want to add the pasta, and we're using whole wheat pasta today, and that may be different for some of you, and we've actually broken that in half. And the thing about whole wheat pasta, the food guide wants us to use half our grains to be whole grains so that we are healthier. And as you can see, this pasta is a little bit more brown than the pasta that you're used to looking at. So we're going to stir that in. And the reason we break that pasta is as this is cooking, get all that in there. As this cooks, we want to make sure that all of that pasta, the dry pasta, is actually stirred down into that pot so that the pasta is submerged so that it will cook. And that's the nice thing about this. You don't have to use a pot ahead of time, pre-cook that pasta, that spaghetti, and then add it to the pot. You just add it to that pot dry, and it will be crunchy. I'm making lots of noise today with our glass jars here. Okay, then we're also going to add that 2 cups of water to our pot, and that will help with getting that all stirred in. And again, you want to just stir this occasionally as it is cooking so that that pasta has time to stay submerged in the water, get the heat and get boiling and simmering, and then allow that to cook for about 15 minutes. Now, while that's cooking, this is a great time to make a tossed green salad to add with this meal. Now, someone asked me the other day, "Oh, you're not making garlic bread?" No, we have enough of our starch with our pasta. I know it's very traditional with many of our Italian dishes to have a garlic bread served with that. Remember, if you want to, you have to count that as an extra bread serving. So I personally would prefer, maybe rather than having just the 1 cup serving of pasta, be able to have 2 cups of the pasta, leave off the bread, and add that tossed green salad. So this is the dish after it's cooked. After this is heated and has cooked properly for 15 minutes, then you're going to sprinkle on your the cheddar cheese, put the lid on that, and then just turn that heat off, and the heat and moisture from that condensation will melt that cheese so that you'll have a nice tasty dish that looks like this. So this is our 1-pot cheesy spaghetti. And I want to show you today what that 1 cup serving looks like. Sometimes we often think, oh my, I want to eat a bowl of pasta this size. But let's see what it actually looks like so you can visualize that on your plate. And this is nice and hot and steamy. This would make a great anytime meal for lunch or dinner, pre-ball game meal, after ball game meal, to fill those youth and adults who are hungry. All right, there's our 1 cup. Let's see what that looks like on our plate. There it is, the actual 1 cup serving on the plate, so you can see that amount. Now, by leaving off the garlic bread, I could actually add another 1/2 cup or another cup of pasta and have a little bit more of the pasta without having the bread. So I wanted you to be able to see that today. And then I want to talk to you just a little more about some of the health benefits of tomatoes. We do have lots of information here at the Extension Service, and one of our leaflets is on the health benefits of tomatoes. The very healthy thing about tomatoes and adding those is that they have lycopene, which is a nutrient that really is a cancer fighter and helps us to be healthy and strong and be able to fight off those cancers. The other thing that we focus on in February quite a bit is that it's Healthy Heart Month. We had our Go Red program the 1st of February, and we do have information on making heart-healthy choices. And I do want you to know that this particular recipe would count as a heart-healthy recipe because we're using a lean ground turkey in place of a higher fat beef. Could we use lean ground beef? Certainly we could, but you'd want to choose at least the 90 or 93.7 beef if you were going to change that, and then it would increase the fat content a little bit. Another point about your ground turkey that I want you to be sure when you're purchasing that, this one says 85% lean and 15% fat, all natural ground turkey, no artificial ingredients, no hormones, and no steroids. But the other thing is that you want to read on the back of the package, sometimes ground turkey can have actually as much fat as some ground beef can have. So you want to be sure your best choice, given a choice, is to choose all white ground. The dark turkey has more fat, Many people think it's tastier and not as dry, and the reason is because it does contain more fat. So just read your label, know that sometimes it can be not even as healthy as beef, but you do want to choose that and choose it well and use that in your recipes. So again, we want to be sure that we pay attention to our 1 cup serving. I think that's something that gets us all in trouble, and I think it's helpful to people to actually visualize what that 1 cup looks like on your plate so that you know how much that serving is. And as far as your turkey, we want to be food safe with that. You want to, if you're working with your turkey, you want to be sure and wash your hands, wash them well after handling the turkey, and also if you have leftovers, be sure to store them within about a half hour in the refrigerator so that they can be safe for leftovers. And then lastly, we want to be sure that you try the whole wheat pastas. If people are not willing to try those, I kind of started my family out using half whole wheat and half regular, kind of like I did with breads. With whole wheat breads, I started with honey wheat and then full whole wheat. And that helps people to adjust sometimes because the whole wheat pasta does have a little different texture after it's cooked. Sometimes it may be a little grainy to the palate if you're trying it for the first time, but be sure and introduce that, and you can introduce that in increments for people to use. Do please request copies of any of our leaflets that you'd be interested in or interested in learning more about heart-healthy recipes. We do have our Cooking Through the calendar available to you, and we actually will be having a program here at the Extension Service the second Tuesday of each month if you would like to attend, starting at 5 o'clock. So we hope you've enjoyed this today. If you have further questions, please contact me. I'm Nellie Buchanan, Morgan County Extension Agent for Family and Consumer Sciences for the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture, Food and Environment.